The number of people seeking asylum at a major border crossing just south of Montreal is rising. Border officials logged just over 1,300 applications at the Saint-Bernard-de-la-Colle crossing in March. That's almost twice as many in February. This was followed by more than 500 in just the first 6 days of April. Experts are warning this surge could be because of the Trump administration's new immigration policies. So joining us from Montreal this morning is Frantz Andre. He's a spokesperson for the Action Committee for People Without Status. Andre, welcome to your morning.
Good morning, Mary. Thank you for having me.
Frantz, what have you been hearing from the people that you work with about why they would like to come to Canada in this moment?
Well, I've been hearing because what Donald Trump had promises, the threat of mass deportation in the United States, he actually canceled, revoked some programs that these people were in, and some of them were to be expired in 2026, 2027. He arbitrarily decided to cancel them. So people are running away because they're actually physically deporting people that were supposed to be under the program for months to come.
Would it be fair to say that fear is what's motivating this surge?
For Canada, as far as Canada has been very generous in the past, for people that's been following what happened in the past, we had the place called Roxham Road that were closed, where it was closed in March 2023, and they've put some very, very limited ways to come in. There's exceptions, and those exceptions are if you have family members of what I call a first degree. We're talking about grandparents, parents, spouses, children, and uncle uncles. In the past, they were cousins. So if you can scientifically, let's say, prove with your birth certificate and other documents that you have family here, they may let you in. That is not guaranteed. So you have to come with ways to prove that you are the same family. And two other ways you can come in is if you are a minor, non-accompanied minor, less than 18, they give you the opportunity to seek asylum. And the very last, and I'm very concerned by this one, is that if you are able to get into Canada clandestinely by going through the woods, you have to hide 14 days somewhere, being exposed to some kind of abuse if there are smugglers. And then after the 14 days, you can claim asylum. But you need to say this is day one, this is day 14, then you'll be able to claim asylum. And this is very dangerous.
Quebec's immigration minister has said this province cannot handle more asylum seekers, and we just gave that number of 500 in the first 6 days of April. If legal options for claiming asylum aren't available, then what kind of dangers are involved for people who are trying to enter irregularly?
Well, the danger is that if you go through, like we've seen it in the past, Marie, we've seen people trying to cross either from Canada to the States, into the woods, getting lost somewhere in the field, snowstorm, falling into water, and then die of hypothermia. Frantz Andre was one example that unfortunately had to manage a case where he died days before Christmas because he was trying to go back to the States. And Frantz Andre is not one example. There's many more. And we heard of people in the past few weeks that actually went through and almost died. So people are doing it. Soon they'll return back because most of them will be sent back because they don't have those family relationships.
Right.
They're finding ways to come in, and unfortunately smugglers are taking advantage of that.
Both Liberal leader Mark Carney and Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre has said that they would only support asylum claims for, quote, appropriate applicants. So right now, that would not include people who are coming in from the U.S. You've outlined some of the ways that they would be allowed to stay. So what do you hope the next Prime Minister knows about the situation for people who are right now seeking asylum from the U.S.?
No, I think they know the figures. I mean, the numbers that you spoke about, they know, and I'm sure they know more because the numbers that we have all know that has been registered. But people that were returned and coming through the woods and waiting for 14 days, there's a lot more. And those are numbers that we cannot yet, talk about because they don't. They don't know. The agent at the border do not know how many people that actually went through. And I do get calls of these people, that needs to stay here. Canada is probably the only option left if they stay in the state, they've received letters saying that, you no longer, be staying in the state, and we're giving you till April 24th. Some people or the programs August 3rd, but they're going to take the chance. If you go back to a country like Haiti right now, where it's almost like a civil war, you want to take a chance going through the woods, and who knows what may happen. The only thing I would tell you also, Anne-Marie, I'm very concerned about some of the rhetoric, Pierre Poilievre, using the word criminals. He spoke of criminals. They're not criminals. What's been happening in the past 2 or 3 years, we're talking of asylum seekers or people that are coming to take and putting weight on the health system, education system. They're creating a problem with the problems were there way before. We have not taken steps. Mr. Legault has not taken steps, and I understand. However, the problem was way before, and Mr. Legault, unfortunately, has been using the immigration issue to be re-elected because it's a very sensitive issue, and the federal are doing the same because, yes, the Canadian or the Quebec population are very concerned of what has been happening. But I can tell you, in the past years, there's people who have been working 2 or 3 jobs because they need to send money home. So they're paying way more than what they're taking away from the Canada and Quebec.
It's a strong point to end our conversation on. Frantz Andre, thanks for joining us here on Your Morning today.
Thank you, Anne-Marie.